a world where negativity, toxicity, and hatred runs rampant, two superheroes. What? Oh, not superheroes? So like two regular heroes? Not even regular heroes? Just two dudes? Sure, whatever. It's your script. Two nerds who are sick of toxic fandom have made it their goal to rid the world of negativity, 1 hour at a time.
Welcome to a very special mini-sode week of Pop-timistic. I am your head xenomorph, Anthony, and this week I'm joined by my good friend, Chandler. Welcome, Chandler.
Hello. I did not know that you were a top xenomorph, though. I think I might have to back away slowly now.
Yeah, I just got promoted to sergeant.
Oh, I didn't know that there was a ranking system. Okay,
there
lovely.
is, yeah. There's a huge hierarchy. It's like queen, corporal, admiral. I'm fucking up the whole system. I hope my dad doesn't listen because he's in the Navy.
I can't believe that corporal is over queen.
And then footman, and then weirdly enough, human, and that's just a figure of speech that they use. It doesn't actually mean human. Anyway,
is that like janitor or something? Oh, that's
exactly right. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, but this week we will be. Sorry, I guess I should preface. Brent is out for personal reasons for a bit.
Who's Brent?
He's this guy. Don't worry about him. He's no threat.
Okay.
Or is he?
I don't know. He might be a threat to me.
Yeah, I could see that. But this week, if you couldn't tell by my mise en scène, is all about the Alien franchise. So I've been rewatching. I just got like the itch, and I've been rewatching from Alien all the way through to the Alien Covenant, the new one. And I invited my friend Chandler here to talk about it. He will be talking about it from sort of the point of view of someone new to the franchise. Do you want to talk about your experience with the franchise?
Yeah, I'd love to. By the way, so if you're watching the video, then you already saw it and probably already got spooked by it, spit out your drink, and just lying on the floor, just like convulsing out of fear.
Yes.
But if you're not watching the video version, on the bottom left of Anthony's screen is this little tiny bobblehead.
It's a pop figure.
It's a pop figure, but it has googly eyes, so it's put a human face onto the alien figure. Yeah. And it's just like, it's really spooky, and it spooked
good.
me.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Gary here is our bodyguard.
Gary. You put a name on him?
Yeah, this is also Larry up here, my man on the poster. And then I actually have, if you'll notice, I also, too, have an Among Us shirt that is Among Us.
That's a good shirt.
With a chest burster. So
That's a gnarly shirt.
I've really gone over the top to show my dedication to the Alien franchise here.
I love it.
So my experience. Well, actually, let's.
Yeah,
yours first.
my experience. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So my experience though with the franchise is I watched the first Alien like a few times. I saw it in theaters. I wanted to see the Aliens. I only saw Aliens for the first time like last week. Maybe was it 2 weeks ago?
At my bachelor party.
Yes, it was. Yes. Fun time, by the way. Thank you for having it. Thank you for inviting me.
I have warm, fond memories of the hot tub.
Yes, the hot tub.
It sounded extremely sensual, but let's not elaborate.
All the bubbly memories, man. So many bubbles.
Ooh.
Yeah. That could be either really bad or really good.
Yep,
I don't know.
That's fine. Let's move on.
Definitely. So, Alien. Definitely not a sexual franchise at all or anything like that. Oh, right.
Yeah, it's not a metaphor for any kind of disease.
Or anything.
With sexual intercourse. The facehuggers definitely aren't just vaginas that also are penises.
I mean, that also, I see more of a toxic relationship too. I see that kind of storyline, especially with the whole Ripley thing through 4, which we'll get to in a second. But my history in Alien, I saw the first one a lot. I've been waiting to see Aliens, the second one, in the big screen on the big theater, and then it just never happened. And then at the bachelor party, I watched it. It was amazing. It was fantastic. Right? Then we watched 3 right after that.
Yeah, like immediately. We just decided to do a back-to-back. Yeah.
And 3 was super good. I actually thought it was good compared now after watching all of them, because I just had a marathon of 4 and then Prometheus and then whatever Covenant. Yeah. So after watching them all and back to back to back to back, however many times, That's my initial opinion.
So
What's
you're
your
very
history?
fresh, which is really interesting
Yes.
to hear. You've been texting me, and I had to kind of stop the conversation because I was like, "Ooh, let's talk about it." Because as someone, okay, so my experience with Alien franchise is, I don't remember how young I was. I think I was like 7 or something, or 10. We're too young. And what I remember vividly that my parents rented the movie Aliens, and then of course, we're like, go to bed. You can't. This is not for you. And then I snuck out of my room, and I remember vividly hiding like around the corner and like behind the couch kind of, and listening to the entirety of the movie. And it gave me nightmares. Even I'd only seen like the box art, right? Like I'd only seen like the one Alien or whatever. And it was just it's burnt into my brain ever since. And so for years I wanted to watch the movie because I love the idea, like the whole and I just listened to the movie. So I wanted to see the thing. And it was just like my imagination was just going crazy.
Yeah. You let your imagination do all the horror storytelling for you.
Oh, it was, I had nightmares. Many.
What were you thinking about? Like, what did you imagine it to be? Do you remember?
It was actually pretty close to what it came out to be. Okay. Because I think the sound design was really, really good, and like I also peeked a couple times, so I was able to get just a little bit of the feeling. So I got the dark hallways and like whatever. So I got like the general gist of things.
I thought you meant peaked from like a drug perspective. I was like, did you say you were like 8?
Yeah, no, I peeked and I was seeing things, and
gotcha. The aliens were coming out at you like the old-fashioned 3D,
and the wall felt really good. So then I for years I just dreamt of it basically, and then I was in my teenage years, and it came back around. I was like, I went to a party with my mom, and hi mom, and I remember, I don't remember why, but the TV like turned on. I don't remember if I turned it on or whatnot, but then I remember specifically the elevator scene with Ripley getting her fucking badass, putting on the flamethrower, like
in number 2?
In number 2, Aliens.
Yeah.
This was very specifically, both of this was Aliens. It was an experience. That was the experience. And then so I remember specifically seeing that scene, and I was like enraptured, and it was at a party though, like with other people, and I was like, oh, I have to watch. And my mom shut it up right as the heroic, like iconic, the elevator hits and the doors come open, and she's just fucking cool. And my mom like turned out, she's like, we can't watch it. I was like, no, it's right there. But so then at some point I just finally watched it, and it's been my
when you
favorite.
were like 28.
Right, yeah, it was like 12 years later. No, it was, I don't remember. It was like late teens. It was like 5 years after that or something. So
nice. But now it's your favorite movie, you said?
It's my favorite movie. It's the Aliens and The Matrix got me into filmmaking because I wanted to create that ride. Because Aliens, like, at the heart of it, if you watch the director's cut, the theatrical cut is a little less. Like, they cut out what I think are like really important things.
Of which one?
Of Aliens, sorry.
Aliens.
Aliens, the second one is my favorite movie.
Let's do Alien 1, Alien 2.
Well, here, I'm going to go through I'm just going to give the order, and then I actually have rankings. So I'm going to do my rankings, and then we'll compare, and we'll go from the top to the top down. Okay. And we'll compare them to your rankings. I think is how this will go.
If I may say, though, also for myself mainly, and also the audience, if we can say, instead of Aliens, Alien 2.
Okay.
Just because it'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, it's audially.
It has to be Alien Cubed for number 3.
Right.
Because that's on brand. That's marketing.
Yep. Alien Exponential. Yeah.
Yes.
But anyways, so Aliens has been my favorite movie. It's like Aliens and The Matrix got me into filmmaking, which made me go to film school, which is kind of where I am. And I've just always loved the concept and the design. H.R. Geiger killed it. Like, it's just incredible. So then that's where we're going to start off. So as the franchise goes, it is Alien, like 1979 or something. I don't have the dates up in front of me. I'm just guessing. And then there's Aliens. It's like 5 years later, James Cameron's second movie, actually. And he went in, and apparently the pitch to make Aliens 2 was James Cameron went in, put Alien on the board, and then just wrote the S with a $sign. and like was like, let's just make some money, guys.
Oh wow!
So
And yeah,
and then Alien
I love that.
Cubed or Alien Exponential was like another like 5 years, and they started this thing where they were picking like new up and coming directors. So like James Cameron after Terminator. Then Alien 3 is David Fincher, his first actual studio movie, even though he disowned the movie. And then like a while, like 1997, like it was like another like 5 years after that was Alien Resurrection.
Yeah.
And they had this French director who did like Amélie, and it was like a very different style. And then after Alien Resurrection, the franchise kind of shut down for a while. They were kind of waffling about what they wanted to do. A fun fact I just learned doing my deep dive is that James Cameron and Ridley Scott, who directed Alien, they were coming up with they were developing Alien 5 for a Ripley continuation of some type. And then they actually dropped it when they found out that Fox was going to make an Alien vs. Predator movie. So they actually dropped their development. So that would have been interesting, right? And then
it would have been Ripley and Cameron coming together.
Ripley, Cameron, and Ridley. So Ridley Scott,
right? That's what I meant.
Sorry, yeah.
Right,
but all three.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be Sigourney Weaver, James Cameron, and Ridley Scott. So yeah,
has anybody ever made that connection? Ridley and Ripley. I mean, just the D and the P swapped around.
I mean, kind of, sure. Yeah, we'll say that's why.
That's the meta.
That's
the truth. Yeah. That's what we should be diving into. Let's have a 2-hour podcast on that.
Oh yeah, just his need to insert himself in a movie.
Yes.
So then, after some digestion, they came out with the AVP, Alien vs. Predator. And then they came out with Alien vs. Predator Requiem, which wasn't actually super long ago. It was only like 7 or 8 years ago. And Ridley Scott kind of put the kibosh on everything. He said, look, like we need to like basically restart from fresh. He actually shut down an Alien 5 development that was being done by Neil Blomkamp.
Interesting.
That was going to retcon Alien Cubed and bring Ripley and Hicks and Newt back.
Oh my God.
And do like an old Ripley story of some type.
What a travesty of hands getting involved.
I know there's a lot going on. That one I would have been really interesting to see because I love his style, and I really like we were talking about. I really want a good Ripley ending.
Yeah.
You know. So, anyways, that was put the kibosh on, and Ridley Scott did Prometheus, and then he did Alien Covenant, and now they are sort of in a weird place with the movies and have kind of stopped making them, and next one hasn't been greenlit, and instead they're gonna have Noah Hawley, who is a novelist and has done 5 seasons of Fargo, and he did of course I'm gonna forget the name of it, but a superhero show basically that I got Brent to watch, and Brent loved it. It's on FX.
Superhero show number 23.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was like a very psychedelic take on like a D-list X-Man.
Superhero show number 24.
Right. It could also be 46. I'm not quite sure, but
46. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going in deep there.
So, anyways, that's the timeline. Let's get into sort of ranking. So, I'm going to start from the very top. Of mine, and then I want to in this one, because I've already ranted and raved about it, Aliens. I think it's a perfect movie, perfect popcorn movie. Yeah. Like, it's not like everyone go, oh, it's not cinema, it doesn't mean much, but it's like,
what is cinema? Cinema, it can be everything. That's what cinema is.
I agree. To me, it's the perfect popcorn film. It's exhilarating. It's a roller coaster ride. The introduction to the special edition, he says it's 40 miles of bad road. And I love that because it does, what's happening. Like the thing about movies that I don't like is like they go in and they're like, pretend they didn't market it and pretend it's not literally the name of is Aliens. And they like cut out in the theatrical edition, like some, scenes where you see Hadley's Hope, the settlement with people, and you see kids and that they're all gonna die. Like, And so, and they
Did
also
we see that stuff?
We did. We saw that.
We
I think
did? Okay.
You specifically walked upstairs because you didn't want to watch it, and then 5 minutes later came back down after that. I remember that. I remember. Well, you gave in. But
interesting.
Again. It's
okay.
fine.
Interesting.
But anyways, yeah, the movie is just 40 miles of bad road. Just like shit keeps going wrong for this group, and you're along for the ride. That's why I love it. But as someone who literally just watched it for the first time, what was your sort of take on it?
I mean, I'm in the same boat. Like that, out of watching that a week ago, and then all the other Alien movies recently, not AVP.
Yeah. You skipped the AVP, which is fine. You didn't have time.
Yeah, I also don't want to.
That's fair.
Yeah, the second Alien 2, Aliens, definitely the best, my favorite one out of all of them.
Great. Well, I'm glad we're on the same page about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even care about like what's the best Alien movie. The best Alien movie, if I had to choose, the first one. I think that's really good. But just in terms of the franchise, if you just take it as like the best kind of movie among them all, I think it's the second one.
Oh, okay. So we actually disagree. So mine is Alien as my number 2.
Gotcha.
So the first one is my number 2. Obviously, I think I'm a little biased. Like I said, I had like a childhood like trauma.
Yeah, right.
But I just adore the movie, and I just think that the Alien is a whole different type of movie. It's like a slasher, but also an art film.
Right. And that's the thing. We have to define what an Alien movie is, because my opinion of what an Alien movie is might be different than you, just because every director also had a different opinion too. Well,
that's really interesting. I'm very broad about it. I think even like to be straight up, I consider like Prometheus, even though, and I have a note here, even though it like went out of its way to not be an Alien movie, is also an Alien movie. Like it's in the universe, and it's supposed to tie directly into the lore. Like, sure, maybe they could do a spin-off that's like just the engineers or something, or like just whatever. Engineers, by the way, is the name of the people who made the alien goo that made the aliens.
The goo.
But like you could spin off and maybe just have like something completely unrelated, and that would not be an Alien film. But I don't think that there is a movie in the universe that I wouldn't consider an Alien film so far.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. It's like, to me though, from a filmmaking perspective, like the first Alien movie is straight. I mean, it's basically a horror movie. I mean, it's more so than anything else. Well, the second one is a war movie in the Alien universe.
Yes.
And so, which one would you say is the peak Alien of in terms of when you think of Alien movie? What do you think of, horror first, or do you think of killing a ton of aliens?
Yeah,
and
that's true.
What's amazing to me, though, just to move forward, what's amazing to me is that both of those types of movies can exist in the same universe: a horror movie and a war movie.
Right.
And with the same character back to back, and it actually continues the storyline. And most people, maybe not most, but a lot of the community agrees that the second one is better than the first in some senses.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
At the very least, they are. It's almost 50-50.
Yeah,
like it's very split, which is incredible. Like to me, it is an example of like a sequel being better, but that's a very subjective opinion. I would say it's very cool to have a sequel that is as good or debatably as good or better. Like, if you think about a lot of franchises, they can't say that. It kind of is like a diminishing returns, which we get to, but in the Alien franchise, but just having that strong sequel is really interesting.
I think the only two movies that could possibly come to mind that also had strong sequels was the second Star Wars, in the original trilogy.
Yes, good call. Empire. Yes.
Yeah, Empire, and also obviously the second Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
totally
obviously,
right, actually, you're totally right.
Obviously, all three Lord of the Rings were good, but like just in terms of 1 and 2 sequel, the first one.
I think you're totally right. The first one is a good movie, but the second one is just more. It's more of everything: fun, interesting characters, stuff. Yeah. So one thing I want to do going forward, and actually we could do here too, is we need to talk about every single one, even getting into the shitty ones.
Of course.
What we like about them, because this is Pop-timistic. So I will start it off. Aliens, I think, is perfect. I think it's a sequel that is better than the first because it expands on the first, and it creates even goes deep into a character. It creates the motherhood theme with Ripley. It takes Alien and goes exponential with it. I mean, and they also expand on the anti-corporate sentiment in the first one. Like the corporation is fucking them over in the first one with the droid, which the droid... I'll get to Alien. The droid was very cool. I love that. The worst, well, I meant the most horrifying scene for me is actually when the android goes crazy and tries to kill her, like with a magazine in her mouth and stuff. Like,
yeah.
So good. So good. And that to me was the most horrifying scene.
Yeah.
Like chasing the alien around is like so, especially because the costume looks a little cheesy to me, but like.
Right.
Anyways, so go ahead. What do you like about Alien and Aliens?
Yeah, so with the first Alien, I'll go in order. The first Alien is just... I mean, I love the history of it, first off. Just, like, going into it and then knowing that people who originally saw that movie, who, like, back when it first came out, were terrified at the alien because they never saw anything like that.
Right.
And just knowing that... Like, because I never really had that kind of visceral reaction. Sure. I had that reaction, I was texting you, to the alien in the third movie. Excuse me, the fourth movie, Alien Resurrection.
Alien Resurrection.
Yeah,
the human hybrid, right?
That disgusting creature thing that we'll get to. But it's the history with the alien is just so interesting to me, and just how it really did scare and create an entire franchise. Just seeing how that all started in such an expert directing, filmmaking way. It's just really, the whole package is just beautiful. The second one, again, I think that is the perfect Alien movie that all Alien movies should go back to. Okay. The first one.
Yeah.
That's the foundation.
Sure.
Horror.
Yeah.
Good tense horror, not in your face horror.
Oh, I agreed. Yeah.
You know, and the second one did that well in parts too. So with the second one, you had that great mix. You had that mix of really tense moments, like with Newt and Ripley in the medical chambers with just one of those or two of them. I forgot if one or two.
Oh,
of the,
yes.
Face huggers.
Two face huggers, yes.
Like that scene alone, because I have a thing with bugs. Like I don't like bugs.
Yeah.
So it's just that one scene, the idea of a creepy caller and you're stuck in a room with it, and you're hiding from it all over the place, and it's a small room, you can't get out.
Mm-hmm.
It gets you. It gets you on a visceral level. Yeah, it gets you on a visceral level, and it's just like it's good, and that's really good, and it's good filmmaking, and it's done well.
The face hugger, in that scene specifically, the animatronic and the sound effects were so good. The like pitter patter of the
oh my god,
so solid.
It gets you.
Oh, it feels too real.
Truly, but also with Aliens, because Aliens is still my favorite movie out of the bunch. Aliens 2, like just all the kind. I love a good military movie. I love Halo. I was even during the movie I was telling you about like how this looks like Halo. That looks like Halo. That's like they have the things that looks like Halo.
Which is it was like ripped directly from that. Yeah.
Seriously, I mean Bungie definitely took a lot of inspiration from Alien 1 and 2. They had to have.
Yep.
Even the ship in this most recent
the ship
Alien,
is like. Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the bridge of it reminded me of one section in the Pillar of Autumn.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it's just a stupid little reference.
Design language.
Yeah, if you know it, you know it. That's all I'll say.
Right, if you know, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I loved Alien 2. A great movie, awesome movie. Couldn't recommend it. See it on the big screen if you can. That's a movie I would see annually for sure on the big screen.
Oh yeah, and I love that that's coming back. Like doing, I watched like Jurassic Park on an old 35 millimeter print and stuff.
Love it.
Yeah, I love that that's coming back. I would definitely watch Alien or Aliens in the theater again, for sure.
One of the big perks about living in a big city, if you're near one and you never looked at your old movies, a lot of old theaters actually, AMC, Cinemark, they every Thursday or on the weekends they have old movies that's playing. Check out your local time, check out your local theaters, because seriously, they a lot of times you might see an old movie that's like, wow, it's Singing in the Rain is playing. Great. I always wanted to see that.
Okay. So number 3. So I actually had a real tough time with this one, and I actually swap-swapped. just now, like, because I was redoing my notes and sort of looking at it, and I decided that my number 3 was actually going to be Alien Covenant. Because you texted
Alien
me.
Covenant.
That's the last one, the newest one.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
You literally just watched it today.
No, I know. No, I'm thinking.
Yeah. I mean, while you're thinking, I'm just going to say, like, I think that it combines the better parts of the world building of Prometheus while still being like the action, but bringing around to the action of an Alien movie. It was almost 3 things. It was almost like the world building of Prometheus, the war movie of Aliens, kind of, and then it comes back around and it becomes in the third act like Alien, the original, because it just has an alien in a confined space, like murdering people.
It even brought that faith aspect back from the third one too. It was a really, and it shocks me because I completely agree with you. Number 3 for me is also Covenant.
Okay.
Like I love it. I actually really loved it. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Fassbender was amazing, and this was my first time watching Alien Covenant. And my second time watching Prometheus, and I watched them Prometheus and Covenant.
Yeah.
Covenant was really good. It actually got me invested, and to a point where I was disappointed that they're not making a third one with Fassbender. I wanted to see the continuation of that storyline. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool world building, and that's, in my opinion, that's a really cool world building for the Alien universe. It got me interested into it again.
Here's the other thing too. This movie was far down on my list with Prometheus, basically, for a while, and then it was the rewatch because I kind of went in with the bitter taste of Prometheus in my mouth, sort of just because I went into Prometheus and the group and I all came out, we're like, what the fuck did we just watch? And like we didn't like it at all because it wasn't anything like what we expected or wanted, I guess. And then Alien Covenant still had that. I had that bitter taste in my mouth, and I went in kind of expecting to hate it, and I just kind of hated it because I wanted to. And now that I've rewatched it, I'm like, okay, I like where they're going. They kind of amended. They went interesting places, and like I have a duality of like I love like Michael Fassbender in Prometheus and Alien Covenant is a revelation.
Yes.
In fucking incredible. He's so good. He carries it so hard.
Yeah.
Having him be the designer of aliens as we know them.
Like aliens as a species.
As a species, not the movie. He didn't retroactively direct the movie Aliens. Being the creator of the alien species was a fucking bold decision that I hated in the moment. And then I'm like, now on rewatch, I'm like, yeah, that's really interesting. I like that. Like, I like it because of the character implications and like where it can go, which is sad because they didn't do a third one.
Well, let's talk about it though, because like it's the idea is that okay, he was a robot from a synthetic from Weyland-Yutani, Weyland at the time or whatever, and then the first human who. What do you mean?
Yeah. The first. He was the first one made.
He was the first one made. Wow. Yeah. So I mean, what a cool way to reboot in a sense, like the Alien franchise, following the first synthetic and how, in a sense, the synthetic was man's way of trying to prevent death of humanity, and the robot itself is what created humanity's death, or at least the what could kill it finally, which is Alien. Yeah. It's a very, like you said, bold. Yeah. And to me, I loved it. Yeah. And I thought that, you know, it's if anybody would be able to do it, it's Ridley Scott and Michael Fassbender. And I thought they did it. I even would say, you know, again, this is coming from someone who watched Prometheus once in the movie theater when it first came out. I was like 2 years old, so I didn't even know what was going on or anything. Yeah. So it was, and then watch Covenant for the first time now. I really liked them both. I thought they were great. As just someone who really wasn't too deep in, didn't have expectations. I thought they were really good movies, actually.
You didn't live in like the Alien universe, like in Alien 1 to 4, long enough to like care. Yeah. Well, not you. Still, I remember you texting me even and saying like, I only care about Ripley's story, but you didn't live in it for years enough to be like, why? And didn't watch Prometheus and be like, what the fuck? This has nothing to do with anything. Yeah, you know? So I think that's a really, just having fresh eyes, I think makes that a lot better. Definitely. In a way.
Also, I mean, I also went from seeing literally, this was my routine today, like we're recording this, but right before this, I watched Alien Resurrection, Prometheus, and then Covenant back to back to back.
Yeah, it was a lot today.
I mean, well, it's not that it was a lot. It's that I started off with Resurrection.
Yeah, we'll get to that one.
Yeah. So what's your fourth? What's your fourth?
Okay. My fourth, which, like I said, was actually a 50-50 kind of for me, but in a different way, and I decided that Alien Covenant is just a better movie. Alien vs. Predator, the first one.
Oh, okay. I never watched, or I don't remember it, so.
I don't think, well, like you said, I don't think you watched it, but...
yeah. I probably watched it when it first came out.
Here's the thing. It's like... it was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, by the way. I forgot that.
Okay.
So, I mean, competently put together. More so than I even remembered. I was like, oh. But it's just stupid fun. It's just take the Alien... It's you know, Alien is like a horror film. Aliens is a war film. And then they like go serious drama with it, kind of. Alien vs. Predator knows what it is and doesn't take itself seriously. And just does what it wants to do, and that's just be fun. It's just a popcorn flick. It's just...
That's awesome.
It's... Yeah, and I was like, okay, all right. There's some cheesy shit in it. Sure. It was kind of fun. But here's... and there's some really dumb shit, too. I'm not gonna... I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Some of it's really, really dumb. But... it's fun in that, like, it just is this whole new story. So I'll set the stage for you. It's humanity. Well, like, this small group of people found the world's oldest pyramid underground, and it's like from some ancient civilization they didn't know about before. And okay, let's go check it out. Turns out that ancient civilizations like built pyramids because it was like hunting ground for predator. It was like, so predators, the species, would come down and use like our world as a training ground, like a bat mitzvah.
What?
Like you had to hunt and kill aliens and humans in these pyramids to be a man, I guess. I don't know. Be a warrior.
Have you gone on Ancient Aliens? Have you told the producers about this? This is amazing.
What is it? That guy with the frizzy hair? He's like, it's aliens.
Yeah. Aliens.
So like they have some like an alien queen who's like chained up and like comes out of like the ice from Frozen and then like lays some eggs, and then like humans are there now, and so then predators come down and like bam, you got a whole mix of things.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry. For the video.
You got some mise en scène too. Chandler this whole time was hiding an alien poster with his head. So just for the audio listeners.
My big giant head. Now you have a picture of who I am.
So that's the story. It's really fun. Basically, and they bring back Lance Henriksen as Wayland.
Really?
Yeah, which was completely retconned later by like the rest of the movies, because Wayland was, Peter. Oh, actually, no, it's the same dude. The dude who founded Wayland is Lance Henriksen, and then Guy Pearce is his son.
Right.
I think that's how that was supposed to turn out in the canon, but I think he also maybe semi-retconned it. But anyways, Lance Henriksen as Wayland. I don't know. It was just really fun. Just a lot of action. Predators and aliens go at it. Humans die along the way, and then this woman sort of just makes friends with with a predator, and they go and fight. And so there's like I think when I first watched it, I was like, this is stupid as hell. But like when I watch it now, I was like, all right, this is rad. So the predator kills an alien, takes what? No way. Takes the head. This, by the way, is
visuals.
Totally a penis. Totally a penis. Anyway,
I mean, you put that image in our head. You incepted that.
So he does this interesting scene, which is very reminiscent of Aliens, when she points the flamethrower at the egg with the queen, and then does the like, this is a flamethrower, right? Well, the predator takes a finger, drops it on the head of the alien, and it doesn't sizzle, and then he puts it on the ground, and it sizzles, and she's like, oh, so he like rips the head off and gives and the tail, and gives it to her, and she uses the head as a shield against the aliens, and the tail is a spear. I was like, okay, that's pretty fucking cool.
That is pretty cool.
It's fun. It's just stupid fun.
Yeah. That's like, Alien 2 levels of like crazy kind of action and things.
Yeah, it just takes it
maybe
a step
one step
above.
up. Yeah, one step up. But still.
And then he gives her like the mark of a warrior. Which
God, okay,
then
never
after they go through all the shit and the predator dies, the like a 50 predators show up and they see that she has like the mark of the warrior and they like let her live.
Oh, great.
So it's
that would have been ugly if 50 predators all turned on you with all the little laser beams.
Yeah, it was
You'd go blind before they kill you.
It's so fun. Anyways, and then it ends on it does like a cliffhanger where the predator ship takes off, and then the predator that died, it does a slow dolly in on him just lying on the table.
Beautiful.
And then it goes, and a fucking predator chest burster comes out and goes Rah! At the screen, and it's got the little predator like jaw, the like mandibles, and I was and that's where it like ends. That's like the cliffhanger. It was just really cute. I was like, all right, man, this is fun as hell.
Yeah, that's cute. That's
like
really
it's very
cute.
90s fun. It's like early 2000s fun. It's like yeah. Anyway, so that's my Alien vs Predator. You haven't
4.
seen it, so we can just kind of move on.
Yeah, well, my number 4 was number 3 in the Alien universe. Alien Cubed.
Okay, we can talk about that when we get to mine because it's not. Yeah.
What's your next one?
You'll have to sell me on it.
Okay, number 5.
My next one is actually Alien Resurrection.
What? Okay, I mean, okay, so that means that Alien Resurrection in your eyes is better than at least Prometheus and number 3, Cubed.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, convince
Yes, sir. Okay.
Or, yeah.
All right. So we kind of talked about this in text, but the main problem, a little bit. The main problem with Alien Resurrection is that the writing and the directing are playing tug of war.
Yes.
Joss Whedon was hired to direct or write it, so it's like action with like one-liners and like a little bit of comedy and just a little bit of drama. Like he likes to throw in just a little bit of character drama, right? Like that's his style. He's got like the 3.
It's like a superhero. It's like a superhero writing.
You're totally right. Yeah, it's like a comic book, sure.
Yeah.
And then they got like the director of Amelie.
Yeah.
Which, like, here's the thing, both of those work on their own. If Joss Whedon had directed his script, it would have been a very different movie, and honestly, I probably would have enjoyed it more. And if Amelie director had his own scriptwriter, I think I would have enjoyed it more. I think it's just the fact that a French director who could barely speak English doing an American comic book script that relied a lot on like American humor too.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So
like a lot of the really quickly, a lot of the normal, and this might be my kind of thing, a cultural thing, but a lot of the tropes that we normally see in American comedy, or at least English comedy, like the single shots and like the fast editing between lines and things like that, like the timing that wasn't there.
No, there was just
actual
just
timing.
long takes. There's just long takes as actors go back and forth, and it's like you're supposed to select the comical take between each one of these.
Right, but instead you had an incredible director of Amelie who is really good with the editing and the pacing, but is just, comes from a French background, which is totally different film culture.
Very different.
It's different.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but continue.
No. A very specific example of that. So Joss Whedon also did rewrites on X-Men, the original #1 X-Men movie, right? Okay. And there's a very infamous line from Storm that was delivered so badly. It is she goes, "What happens to a frog when it's struck by lightning?" And then she fucking literally the frog man gets struck by lightning, and she just goes, "The same thing that happens to everything else." And she's so fucking serious about it and tries to be like a cool line, and then walks away, and it's does not work at all. It's so awful. It's very infamous. Joss Whedon.
I'm terrified.
It was, and he goes, "It's supposed to be a throwaway line. She's supposed to not care because she's so powerful. She doesn't give a shit." And so his version of the line would have worked if he had directed it, but but Halle Berry decided the line was very serious and needed to be in a super cool superhero moment. So and
the director also didn't interpret it either.
And Bryan Singer also didn't intervene.
Yeah.
So That's an example of like Joss Whedon writes a very specific style that works for him, and especially if he directs it. But honestly, his writing demands that he direct things because a lot of it can be taken differently.
That's good. That's a really perfect example. Thank you for summing that up. That's
because you sent me a clip of the movie. Literally, you were like, "This is awful."
It was.
Yeah, it was the It was the Ron.
It was Ron Perlman just like saying like
to Ripley.
Oh
yeah. Well, he goes, "How did you ran into these before? What'd you do?" And she goes, "I died," and walks off. And he's like, yeah, he's got his reaction shot.
It's just so dumb.
But it's in that walking like one shot, like down a hallway. What? It's so cheesy.
Yeah, it was, and that was a real big shock to me, and a perfect example of the really wide. I don't know if this is the right word, but like, this is the right word. The wide fissure between the writing, the directing, how the cinematography works, and how everything meshes together.
Yeah,
like to me, and I know I'm being negative. We'll talk about positives.
Yeah. Oh no, we're gonna flip to positives. I'm gonna talk about some cool shit.
My last negative thing is mainly just like it just felt like it was made so logically, and it was nobody ever stopped, or because they thought they should have, or because they even cared to think, does this actually make a good movie, or are we literally just doing our roles to complete them? Because that's what it felt like. It's like if anybody watched the dailies and just put together a little edit, it would be like, this doesn't really work.
Yeah,
I just can't believe that someone and any artist would look at this and say like, it works. But that's me, and that's a pretty negative thing to then go into the positives.
Yeah, you really just kind of shit all over that.
Good luck.
Okay, so some good stuff. I really loved the aesthetic and like some of the camera work that they were doing. Like we were talking about it before. Some of it is really tense because of the way that he constructs it. He goes from like these like very solid just like dolly moves, and then in a scene he does a very French stuff and goes shaky cam and gets right, like he will, like his movements are so erratic, the camera will go right up on someone and then like run back and then right up on something else, and it's so frenetic, and I like that style. Actually, it was like, I don't like shaky cam, but that was very cool. Specifically, there's a scene where one of the guys they know actually has been implanted with an alien and chest burster, and the whole time they've been like throughout the movie they're like waiting, they're like, there's like jokes about no, I'm good, guys, it's not coming out yet, and finally at the end, the big bad guy that they've been like chasing throughout the facility, they like catch up to him in a ship, and the camera work goes fucking crazy on this dude as he starts convulsing, and he like jumps up, takes a whole bunch of bullets, runs at the dude, grabs his head, and actually uses the chest burster coming out of his head to blast through the dude's head and kill him. And it's like, number one, that was just a fucking cool moment, just like a concept of it. And then number two, it was so viscerally shot that it was just like, it almost felt it felt like a whole different movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And anyways, I love that fucking scene. It's so out there. It's awesome. And then I weirdly have this like 50-50 thing, because I love that they brought back, because Alien 3, they just disregarded Ripley's sort of motherhood theme, oh no, they didn't, we'll get to that, they didn't actually, but they brought the motherhood theme back in, but with like a whole other twist, which is that she is a hybrid of an alien, so she actually is kin with all the aliens, and she like falls through the floor and then like makes love with aliens or whatever, and like falls through the alien floor and is like loving on them, and then there's like the birth of a hybrid that is horrifying but loves her and thinks that she's her mom. So I like that concept. I don't think that it really ended up being good, but like I like the concept up front. Yeah, like the first half of it.
I agree. But the problem was that because the actual film, in my opinion, itself as like a whole, wasn't the best final package.
Yeah.
I think there were two major emotional beats in the Ripley lore, the Ripley storyline, the Ripley arc, that just didn't hit that well.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, can we talk spoilers? Or?
Oh, no, for sure. We've been talking spoilers this whole time.
Oh, yeah, good point. Okay. But like the first
been out for like almost 20 years.
True, I guess.
Well,
so
15,
fine.
I guess,
but I just saw it. I don't know. Maybe there's one more viewer that might yell.
Yeah, right.
Or write an angry letter. But no, it was a scene where she's Ripley's burning all of her clones. That harks back to Alien 2 with the burning all the eggs with the mother. Beautiful scene. Loved it.
Yeah.
Hated Ron Perlman's line right after.
Oh, I know.
If it was shot differently, if it was paced differently, it would have worked.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Right.
But it was still a great scene.
Yes.
And
I think
especially
just to sort of piggyback on that, Sigourney Weaver, I think, did she really hit for the fences in this one. Like, she tried. Like, she took it and she fucking went, and it's like really admirable because some of it really works, in my opinion, and some of it doesn't. That scene hits hard.
Yeah. That was the strongest scene because it was just Ripley. It was just Sigourney Weaver being Ripley in that moment. Right. Nothing else.
Yes.
And it worked well. That was the best scene, and that could have been better, I still think. The next scene with the hybrid, that the other really emotional Lord scene, was the death scene when the big alien baddie dies.
Right.
And that was like it going back to the mother theme that you briefly mentioned. It's like that's where now Ripley gave birth to a child. She finally has another child, and now she has to kill her child.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
That's the meta story. And it's super cool and it's great. And I love that they're continuing the Ripley storyline.
Right.
But it was just like, I texted you the conflicting feelings. It's not that I was crying and weeping and laughing for joy. It was that I was cringing at like the Final Destination-esque death and just like disgusted at the flashing lights lighting up his inner sockets, his eye sockets.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, it was just really spooky. Like, it's like he has big eyes like a puppy, but the face of like an actual monster.
I know.
And it's just like, it was well done in a sense, but like, it wasn't at all enjoyable or entertaining or even like, I didn't want to watch it.
It was
I
just
wanted
kind
to
of,
text you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, go.
No, it was just kind of gross. And it's like off-putting.
Yeah. Like, even so, it was like, okay, I knew what the implications were for Ripley and the character, and I wanted to invest into that, but at the same time, I was like, I don't want to put this into memory because I know I'm going to have nightmares. But not good nightmares.
I do have to say, I as much as like the hybrid, I have like really mixed feelings about how that was all executed. I don't know if I like it, but what I do like is the horrifying position and feeling that Ripley is in, like when she watches it kill a bunch of shit and then like looks at her and you're like, oh, it's about to fuck me up, and it comes up and it makes those mewling noises. They're like the like puppy cat noises and starts snuggling with her. Off, like, horrifying, which like I think is like, I felt something and I think they did something right there. Like, it's awful. Like, but like,
you're right.
Yeah, so that's what moves me, but I also am like, I have mixed feelings because the whole idea is fucking silly. You know?
Yeah.
And like the animatronic itself is like some design flaws, I would say. But
I mean, at that point though, we have Ripley being cloned 200 years later with the queen of the alien species inside of her.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
and now there's some human. Yeah.
If we're following along, it's already a silly as fuck concept.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, though, you made me remember the scene with Michael Fassbender in the second Covenant movie, with him face to face with the alien.
Oh yeah.
What a scene.
Yeah.
Just that whole we kind of just talked about Michael Fassbender as a whole. We never got anything specific.
No, that's true.
That one scene where he just stands there and it just almost just communicates with the alien just in a very simple way, and his visceral reaction when the guy behind him, the captain, shoots at him.
Yes.
Just like his face.
Oh my
God. It's like you felt that pain in him.
Yeah. And like, when he screams at him and he's like, he trusted me.
Yeah.
Like, the character development in that one is so amazing, but the difference between the two Davids, which like
and the accents too.
I know.
I love that.
I called the twist the whole thing where you're supposed to think it was whatever, the good guy walking out when really it was the other bad David. But
it was good dramatic irony.
Yeah. I mean, you can't not do that if you're writing it.
It was they have to do that. Yeah, and it was good. They should have. I'm glad they did it.
But anyways, that scene was incredible. The other thing too, especially, is because that same thing where like you feel really tense because the alien's standing right in front of you on screen and it's like huffing. It's like standing there huffing. You're like, what is it gonna do? So you're in his shoes, like trying to communicate with it, almost like tense. It was very cool.
Yeah. It really was. It really was.
The design of
Like,
those
just-
things was really fucked up too. It was like
Yeah.
kind of creepy.
Yeah, I have design stuff I want to talk about when we get to Prometheus at some point.
Ooh, okay. At some
Yeah.
point, it'll be in a bit. All right. So next, do I have anything else to say about? No, that's all. Oh yeah, I do want to. One cool little shot from Alien Resurrection before we move on was.
Oh, yeah.
It's so stupid, but I really like the shot where at the beginning of the movie when the aliens first get out onto the ship, an alien punctures the general's head, and in one shot the general reaches, like you're looking at his face, and you reach around and he reaches around and he pulls out like a bit of brains, and in one shot, and then he just fucking, oh my god, I love that shot. It's so gory.
Nope.
Moving on.
Nope.
My
Nope.
number
yes,
six.
Yes. Move on.
Is your movie Alien Trace? Alien.
Oh, okay. Cubed.
Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead and talk about what you like, and then I'll shit on it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
So, context. I watched Alien Cubed, Alien 3, right after Alien 2.
Yeah.
So, it was the trilogy Ripley storyline of Alien 1, 2, and 3. And in my opinion, that's the Ripley storyline ends at 3. That's my opinion when it comes to if you add in Resurrection to the mix.
Yeah.
I really liked 3 compared to all the rest of them, compared to all the other movies that I watched. 3, there were definitely issues. We watched the extended edition of it,
Yes.
which I think helped out a lot. I never saw the theatrical.
Right. I don't think I have
So-
either, actually.
Okay.
Weirdly enough.
So, yeah, so coming from my perspective, like seeing the extended edition, I really enjoyed it because it's still, even though it didn't continue the really cool story that was set up after the second movie.
Right.
It was still a good Ripley story because it gave her the ability to act. It gave her the ability to be the character and continue it.
Okay.
In the third movie, or excuse me, in the fourth movie in Resurrection, I feel like Ripley wasn't even a character. She was just like a shell of herself, and there was no emotional
she had to
motivation.
she had died, and now she was a clone, so she spent like half the movie remembering who she was, so she wasn't really a protagonist. And then it was
Right.
also like, oh, you're half alien, so like, are you even going to be a good guy? Like, yeah.
Yeah,
no,
well,
totally.
here's the thing. Let's remove in Resurrection. Let's remove all those the other crew that was behind them with Winona Ryder and Ron Perlman. Focus it just on freaking Ripley, the reason why we're there, and let's have an additional 40 minutes of her dealing with the implications of now being half alien.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, just I wanted more Ripley in the fourth one.
By the
So
way, just one quick thing about Alien Resurrection, the fourth one. This is the one thing I want to say. I think the best performance in the movie was the dude in a wheelchair.
Yes,
The fucking,
he was so good.
He swung for the fences, and I bought it. Like,
Yeah.
I really liked him, and I thought that he was kind of the heart in a way. Like, they tried to make
Yes.
Winona Ryder like the heart of the movie, but like, it was the fucking paralyzed guy, like, for sure.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, he was.
He was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I honestly though with number 3,
Yeah.
like I thought the characters were good. The writing was good.
Okay.
At least the dialogue, I should say, maybe not the writing, but the dialogue.
Yeah.
It was better than 4.
Yes.
It was better than Resurrection.
Yeah, it was more real.
Yeah,
it was like
and I felt.
real words being said by real people.
Yeah, and a lot of the characters look the same because they're all just like bald guys.
Yeah.
But, the characters that they made you really focus on was you cared about.
Yeah.
Like, and I just remember too that one scene where Ripley goes into the jail and talks to the main kind of like warden guy, and she's telling him to like, like
the
kill
asshole?
me with this axe. No, kill me with the axe.
Which was it? The asshole, the guy who ran the prison,
No, not him.
the black pastor guy, the minister.
Yeah,
guy?
yes,
There we go.
yes. The black pastor guy. he in that scene and both of them in that scene was amazing. And it was just like you didn't have that kind of scene in 4.
Yeah.
You didn't have a scene where it was just like a really emotionally tolling scene where it's just like, is a rapist, murderer of women going to kill a woman who is literally saying, kill me right now, murder me, I don't want to do this.
For the greater good too, because she knew that she had one inside of her.
Right. And so it was 2 really strong character motivations battling up against each other.
Yep.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's those kind of little mental gymnastics that like that were happening in the movie during that time, and the slower scenes and the drawn out conversations and stuff.
Yeah,
it was nice, and I felt that was more like an Alien movie compared to number 4, Resurrection.
I could see that. It is reminiscent of Alien number 1, I would say.
Yes,
they really did try to do that, and they actually in the development scaled it down to that. It originally was actually William Gibson, the guy who wrote Neuromancer and invented Cyberpunk, wrote an Alien 3 script that was supposed to be 3 and 4. It was a 2-parter where their ship had floated into space communist territory, and they basically get into a war between the space communists and corporatized armies from Weyland-Yutani. And the space communists start using aliens in a war. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, so that was supposed to be Alien 3 and 4, but then they scrapped the script and moved on. Then it was going to be monks on a wooden planet that was like a clock or something. And then they took...
That's way cooler than the big war out in space. That's for sure.
So much cooler. And then they kind of melded it with a different script. And so that you have like a different story, but with the characters over here, and it was like a melding of the two. And then David Fincher did a finishing draft, I guess. So so it was kind of an amalgamation of a lot of stuff. But go ahead.
No, speaking of the amalgamation, we mentioned this before. The perfect example. The first movie was written by Ridley Scott. Second movie was written by James Cameron. Maybe not the first. No, sorry. The first movie was written.
Dan O'Bannon.
Yeah, the original creator of Alien. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
So you had the original creator of Alien writing the first one. Okay. Then you had the second one, James Cameron. You had one writer in both movies. Then the third movie,
so
you had
a
three
writer
different
and a different director.
No, not even that. Just the fact that there was one main central person behind the writing.
Yes.
And then in the third movie,
yeah.
So you had one writer for the first one, one writer for the second one. Third movie, you had 3 writers.
Yes, and that's even
all credits.
Yeah, and that's even the uncredited, because they did do. I looked at the Wikipedia. There are uncredited writing passes too.
I'm sure,
and lots of failed development.
I'm sure there's other hands in the first and second one too, but like it's the third one where you start to see that decline.
Yep,
for
sure. I thought it was a steep drop off. That's why it's for me.
Yeah.
I kind of am on David Fincher style. Here's the thing. Okay, so I'll shit on a little bit, and then I'll light a candle. For me, it's the David Fincher style, but they like reined him in, so like it both didn't work for the film and also felt like it was out of place. Like it's like it worked in some places, but it was like so antithetical to what it was trying to do, because it also felt like he was. Watching the movie, I could feel him struggling with the studio. Like, that's my biggest problem with it. It also just comes across to me like long and a bit boring. There are some really good character moments. It just gets so long to get there. And then this is a very subjective thing. It is for me the sin of killing off-screen beloved characters.
Okay.
To me, I know that
can't fight that.
I know that they were trying to put her into an alien situation, just surrounded by men. And if like Hicks had been there to be her bodyguard, like whatever, like it wouldn't work as well, right? Like the idea of her being surrounded by serial killers and rapists and whatever.
Right.
But keep Newt at least. Like that actually heightens the stakes. Like some of their decisions in just resetting her upset me right off the bat.
No, I can't not agree with that. Like, of course, the resetting was terrible.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, the family storyline and all the characters you care about so much by the end of Alien 2, and for them, all of them just being killed off. But the one character that isn't killed off is Ripley.
Right.
And I think Ripley and her story.
It's her story, and I get that.
It's super strong, though.
Yeah.
Like, the ending, okay, fine, whatever. Suicide, death, okay, whatever.
No, I think that was a correct choice. Like, because it has to be, she makes the ultimate sacrifice in the motherhood theme, and to stop the aliens, and to also stop the corporate people from getting their way.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a wrap up of all those themes.
It's the right choice for the story that they chose.
Yeah.
If they didn't choose Newt and all of them dying, it wouldn't have ended that way. Yeah. So it's one of those things.
Exactly. It's kind of, if you already made the decision to go in one way, then a lot of things are predestined.
Right.
Whereas
right.
if you like are just like, well, Hicks and Newt are alive, it's a completely different story about family.
Right.
You know. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
And but the other thing I do want to just bring up before we get off of 3.
Sure. Well, I have to say what I like about it.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, the last thing I'll say that I like about it then,
Okay.
is the Ripley storyline. And I know I keep harking back to it, but I liked how she's grown from the first movie to the third movie. Where in the first one she had to find her voice. Now in the third one she's going up and literally going up against literal rapists and killers of women directly right in front. And I think I remember you saying that was the first movie where she had producer credits.
Yes.
And I thought that I thought she really did a great job in that movie as just an actor.
I think in anything that she's in, she fucking goes for it. She's an incredible actress. I think like even if it's like not, it's almost like how in Mark Hamill in The Last Jedi said, I don't really believe in what the story is going, but I'm going to put my full performance in the director's hands, and I'm gonna go for it. And I think he turns out a pitch perfect performance for what that's supposed to be. I love The Last Jedi. But like she's just a consummate professional. She goes in and she fucking nails whatever they're trying to do.
Yeah.
For good or bad. I mean, Alien Resurrection has some awful shit, but she fucking like commits, and it's I really like respect, man. But I think like what I do like is that actual ending. I liked a lot of what they did with some of the characters. Like I forgot that the Black Minister guy was like a main character. Yeah. And I loved actually that. Okay, here's the thing. I had to get past that Hicks died, and of course she just like, and I fucking hate that she just fucks some random dude. Like like 3 days later, she just fucks some random dude. But here's the thing. I love the story concept of her trusting someone, having, she gets intimate with him and whatever, and then they start opening up, and you think they're going to be the new hit, and then he fucking dies immediately in front of her.
I love it.
In a blast. That was a great story choice.
I love it.
I will back that 100%. And I think the ending is, like we said, for that story, the way that it should end. Like she does need to die at that point. She can't give it to Lance Henriksen as Wayland.
Right.
Like it's just, I think that like for all the sins that I hate it for, it does do some things perfectly. This was supposed to be a mini episode, and we're going on an hour. We love talking.
No mini episode.
Alien.
Alien requires all the time. No, but you brought up a great point with the alien being like really. I mean, there was some really bad CGI in Alien 3.
Oh my God! Yeah, actually, the alien CGI is probably the worst in the whole series.
Like they should have just omitted those scenes. They don't add anything to anything.
Yeah, seriously.
Like just add some noise effect and just loop a clip back and forth or something. But I will say though, Alien 3 was, in my opinion, the last Alien movie that were to come out with like where the alien was actually like scary. Yeah. In some way.
Yeah. No, there's some scary parts. Totally.
Like, well, specifically, I mean, the scene when the alien kills the guy, like the one, whatever, the doctor guy. Yep. Like that was surprising.
Yeah.
And like, and it was a cool scene too, with that whole famous scene where the alien goes right up against Ripley's face and stuff, and it's and it's confusing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also, I mean, you had that other guy in the strapped up in that jacket too, where he was in the background who like saw the alien for the first time and like became like saw him as like a god almost and wound up freeing him.
Oh, that's right. That was kind of a cool concept. I
thought it was cool.
Yeah, that was fun. The demon or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, like he played that role really well.
He did. That guy really went for it. I like that. That was fun.
He did a good job.
All right. Well, that wraps it up on Alien 3. Let's try and cruise. 7. Second to last, Prometheus. So
what did the last? Oh yeah, Prometheus.
There's 8 technically. Okay. So Prometheus for me, I wrote here the updated visuals and even an absolutely smash hit performance from Michael Fassbender. This is my fucking what's his name? The guy who gives 2 thumbs, Roger Ebert review.
Yes, this is Roger Ebert.
Smash hit performance from Michael Fassbender can't save this movie from insanely bad writing and characters and just overall being really boring because it doesn't know what it wants to be and went out of its way to not be an alien movie. Hard to watch. I'm going to tread some ground that everybody's treaded. Okay. The characters make some, the plot relies on characters making incredibly bad choices. James and I, my friend James and I have been, we watched it just now as well. And I was texting him as I was watching it. And I'm just like, yep. People on an alien planet just removing their helmets and nobody gives a fuck because that's what you do in movies. And like, then people just approaching an alien snake and saying, it's gorgeous. No, it's horrifying. It looks like it can eat you. Why are you approaching this thing? Like, there's just some really dumb, bad character decisions. And there's some really incredible actors in this movie that give really flat performances. Like, I love Charlize Theron. I adore her. But wow, was this like some of the cringy dialogue. The one that we like to make fun of is when Guy Pearce shows up in a big twist that, oh, the old man is actually on the ship and he wants to like talk to the engineers, the aliens. And she like makes it a point to like be shitty at him and be like, literally, she's like, whatever you want, father. And that's supposed to be like big big twist.
That's why you guys were saying father.
Yeah, so
that's right.
So yeah, there's just some really bad line readings, I think, and it really has to do with it. Also had a fuck ton of scripts and didn't know what it wanted to be because it was supposed to be a one-off prequel that the giant spaceship at the end was supposed to crash and just be the ship in Alien in the very beginning. And they just decided, oh no, I want to make another trilogy with a space opera, so they like quickly rewrote it to be basically just the foundation for the rest of a trilogy. But what it ends up not being is like a good fucking movie, and it just tries to set up for the rest.
Yeah, it did feel like it felt like a prequel to the first movie, to a first movie, not the first.
Exactly, movie. And what's funny is that in doing so, it just confused the fuck out of me because at the end I was like literally I was watching the spaceship crash and I'm like, well, obviously it's going to be the one in Alien, but then I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense though because everything's on board there wasn't the alien, there's actually no aliens at all, and then also it was just a different ship crashing on a different planet. It was like LV-422 and not 4 whatever the other one is, so it's like it just managed to confuse the fuck out of me, and I like walked out and I was like, that was like just bad, and then I rewatched it and I was like, yeah, it's still just not good. But what I will say, okay, on to what I love. Actually, you talk about it first. I'll get back to it because we'll talk about some of the same stuff.
So there's just for context for everyone who's still listening. Hello, by the way. The
hey, Mom, thanks for listening.
The two, hello, nobody who's come from my end. Thank you for listening. Thanks for having me. Whatchamacallit? Fuck, I totally forgot.
Oh, no. Well, I'm going to talk about Michael Fassbender. Again, the intro to Michael Fassbender is, to his David, is just a really well-crafted sequence.
Yes.
It says, I'm an android without doing the Aliens 2 thing where it's like, oh, I have to show you my blood, which is white. And it's beautiful. Like it's him like learning languages and watching movies and just like doing a daily life of just, and he's like all prim and proper and his body language is there and you know that he is a robot, but he's also really intelligent and like, you know, so it's just a really incredible introduction to him. And then setting up with Guy Pearce I thought was really cool, like setting up those themes. Yes. And that's just about it. The only other thing I can say that I really like about the movie is the abortion scene when she...
Yes, that was well done.
Horrifying. When so the main character is like, it's not really like face huggered in this one. It's like impregnated. Oh, it was from husband.
The DNA.
It's from her husband was poisoned, for lack of a better word, infected from David, who's trying to experiment with the goo.
Right.
And then they bone, and then so she has a horrifying alien baby inside of her, and she runs into a machine and basically gets like a impromptu abortion, and it like cuts it out, and it's like flapping in front of her face, and it's like this disgusting squid thing. And I was like, this scene is horrifying, and I love it.
Yeah, the thing I kind of liked about Prometheus, you know, I liked how it showed.
Pretend you're a used car dealer and you're trying to upsell me on like a 68 Cadillac, and you're like, this baby's got so much storage space you can fit 8 aliens in here.
Yeah, yeah, if the 8 aliens are Alien Covenant, because that's the only reason why you'd ever want to watch Prometheus.
Yeah.
And I think that's just what I keep coming back to, is
That's
that, like,
fair.
there's some cool stuff in Prometheus.
Yeah.
There truly is some cool stuff.
Well, it's like foundational, and I think that's why I don't
Right.
like it, is because it's only foundation. That's all it serves as.
Yeah, it's like,
There's like no payoff, and in fact, a lot of it is confusing because you're like left with alien goo, and you're like, okay. And also,
Yeah.
there's aliens on the wall, so David didn't really, by the way, design them, because there was already a mosaic with aliens. So like, even Alien
I always
Covenant,
assume that. Yeah,
But
I always
no,
assume that he didn't.
But in the
That's what the lore is?
in Covenant, you just watched it today. In Covenant, he designs them. He said, "This is my design," and he made face huggers, and he made the this. That he made the
Oh, I see what
xenomorph.
you're saying.
So
I
like,
see what you-
he designed that.
Yeah.
And
I see
that
what
was
you're
the
saying.
whole big twist in Covenant, but it already kind of, they had a mosaic of alien on the walls. Like,
Right.
even their own lore that they were trying to set up, like, conflicted with each other.
I do, but they did say that there were many of those ships. There were a lot of those, and there were obviously other aliens being bred around the universe.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's his version of the perfect specimen.
Okay, fair.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe because like
I
the
feel
thing
like
I was going to say
there was going to be a trilogy with the settlement that happens, and it would have to, and that would cap off whatever.
that would I would have loved to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but the thing that I really liked was kind of seeing how all the different creatures kind of like evolved really quickly between like in Prometheus and in Covenant. Like you saw how it wasn't just the same alien growing up time and time and time again, and it wasn't just a copy paste.
Yeah.
It was like each one was different, and it was like based on the host.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I like that.
Yeah, I did.
You
like,
saw them evolve really quickly.
throughout the franchise. I really like that sort of idea, and it gave them a lot of leeway. Like I said, like the predator alien with the fucking mandibles and like whatever. I mean, they have fun with it.
cool.
And like the ox one, which runs on all fours and was like a
Right.
little beefier, stuff like
I never
that.
put two and two together.
Yeah. And then the Neomorph was in Prometheus, or sorry, Covenant. It was called Neomorph. Was the like whiter one that came out of the back
Yes.
of that guy.
Yeah, that was creepy.
That scene, actually, I'll give Covenant. That scene was also horrifying.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, the one thing I was going to say too, you know, we talked about oh god, what was the movie? We were just from Prometheus. That's what we were talking about. Prometheus, it's you know, it was a prequel that was just foundational.
Yeah.
The other prequel I could think of that was kind of in a sense foundational, was Rogue One, that came out way after the original.
But that does it so well.
And that's what I wanted to bring up.
Yes.
Rogue One did it so well, and the ending of that movie was that was the one Star Wars movie. I think the only Star Wars movie that actually got me teared up.
Yep.
Was the end of Rogue One.
1000%.
It was like, wow, we're seeing this like historic moment in all the Star Wars movies.
That's
And
what
it's
I
like the
wanted out of.
characters.
That's what I
Yes.
wanted out of Prometheus and Alien Covenant was
Right.
the setup for Alien, and because here's the thing, it was promising the setup for Alien. So
Right.
I wanted that, but I wanted meaning and stakes and characters.
Right.
And we got like some.
Like, what if Prometheus was, you know, a Weyland Yutani like mission gone wrong or something? Or what if it was like they found the alien, it was the first time they ever found it or something, and they knew that it was there or something, and they knew something, and then it just goes horribly wrong, and then they can't get it. and that's, to me, that sounds interesting. Maybe not. Your video reaction, on camera reaction is not good.
Well, it's 11 p.m., so I am.
It is late.
Crashing.
I am too.
But I envisioned it as like the settlement happens. David uses it in a horrifying way, slowly, like picking people off or whatever, and then like either near the third act or like halfway through, the engineers show up. And they try to basically eradicate, like nuke from orbit in a way, like aliens, like Alien 2A, like nuke from orbit is the only way. But then, like, of course, he somehow makes it live on by, it's on the ship, and and you like are left with like the engineer who's like driving the ship, piloting the ship, is like convulsing, and then it pops out of his chest, and like that's the final, right? Like, and then you're like left with like some sort of philosophical statement from David on the planet, having created this perfect specimen that now lives on. It's his legacy or whatever, and he's like it's okay to die now because I've created the perfect thing, or something, like he's won in a way, like something like that. That's kind of what I envision from a third one.
I like that. I like it.
Yeah, it's shit. So my last one. Number 8, Dab for no reason. Alien v Predator Requiem.
Okay.
All right, I have an entire paragraph on this flick. I'll try to sum it up really quick because I know you haven't seen it. So Alien vs Predator Requiem picks up right where the cliffhanger of the Predator alien bursting out of the chest in the Predator ship. So then the ship basically, the alien pops out. It grows up really quick and wreaks havoc on the Predator ship. Predator ship crashes in Colorado, my home state.
Lovely. You're not biased at all.
No, not at all. This is
You're
my
not
number one
biased
flick
for your
of all time.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I actually looked it up and I was like, was it filmed in? No, it was filmed in fucking Vancouver.
Damn.
So I said, here's what I wrote. My first sentence is, "Holy hot heck! This might be a fun flick if it weren't drowned in its own color correction." Despite a whopper of a dark opening, where a kid. Oh, this is. I actually thought it was. I'll give it a quick light a candle because the opening is really fucking dark, and I thought it was gonna be like actually pretty fucking cool. This kid's out hunting with his dad, and like the kid and the dad get face huggered, and I was like, oh, that's dark. Having a kid on screen get face huggered is dark. I like that.
Yeah.
But then it falls flat. Nearly immediately. It has no memorable characters. It has a contrived high school story.
I love those.
Yes, you do. The characters are like from a rejected American Pie 5 B plot. Like,
oh no,
it's like the main like kid is a pizza delivery boy who just wants to fuck the hot chick, but the hot chick's boyfriend is such an asshole, and it was just, the scenes are so bad. The scenes are. I can't.
That's every relatable character in the 8 to 17 demographic.
They even have the prerequisite, we're going to hook up in a pool. Like, we snuck into the high school pool, and I'm going to take my clothes off, and you're going to see me in my underwear for a second. It's so high school.
Summer blockbuster, man.
They really tried to port these, like, the whole American Pie, the whole thing. But yeah, it just kind of gets real dumb and shitty, like real quick. And then it also, I mean, here's the thing. It kind of had some cool shit. But like I said, the color correction is so dark. It is, like, there are frames where it's 90% pure black. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, show
art.
Like, okay, here's the thing. Alien Resurrection showed too much. It had light everywhere, like we're talking about on text. In the water scene where they're like swimming, everything is lit, and you see 10-second shots of bad CGI aliens just swimming through water, which
it's just like pirouetting all over the place. He was like having fun.
And the concept of a swimming alien is horrifying, but then watching it just sort of flounder around for 10 seconds in full light, not great. But you can't see anything, and then you kind of get these really brightly shot like American Pie scenes, and it's just kind of what? Okay. The third act does pop off a little bit, though.
Okay.
There's some truly ridiculous shit. So there's 2 cool death scenes. Oh, there was a small scene that felt like Aliens. I will give it that. It did feel like Aliens. They're kind of like all banding together. They all have guns and like they were kind of, I don't know. It was like quick. I was like, okay, cool. 2 cool deaths. What did I write down? Okay. There was a new alien. So the Predator alien is fucked up. Okay. So the thing with the mandibles, it's its own face hugger. So it busts into a hospital and there's like, it like kills someone right next to a pregnant lady. Her like doctor left and she's like left there and she's huge. Like she's about to give birth. And, the alien comes up to her, it's the Predator alien, and the entire thing, instead of face hugging, like a small face hugger, the entire thing, it just grabs her face and wraps its mandibles around the face, and then it like shows shoving eggs down the throat.
Oh, I remember that.
Horrible. And so you see the eggs go down the throat, which is awful. Yeah. And then like 2 minutes later, she gives birth, like her stomach explodes and there's like 4 aliens pop out of her. And I was like, that's fucking rad. It was so disgusting, but I fucking loved it. Like, okay. I was like, that's my thing. I love that. Will say,
now we know your thing.
My thing. That's my thing. That's my kink. I will say, don't shame me. The use of practicals in this movie is actually very good. Because we were watching Alien 3, which had the worst CGI of all time. And then this one, they actually went out of their way to have practicals. Like, everything is an animatronic. It's all dripping with KY jelly. Like, it is actually... I was like, this is respect. They also apparently went back and remastered all of the sound effects from the original Alien and Predator to sound legit and to be, like, as close to the source material as possible.
Okay.
Great. Awesome. Yeah.
Why is this your last? You're talking a lot of positives. Why is it your last place?
Oh, it's just a shit movie, dude. Like I couldn't.
Oh God. Okay.
It's like I can't talk enough shit about it. Like I didn't care about any of the characters. It didn't make any sense to me. I didn't like it. Just I completely fell off. The thing is, I don't even remember like the middle of the movie, honestly, because I started just like zoning out and like surfing the web. Yeah. And then I kind of came back in, and the third act was like popping off, right? So that's kind of why. But there was like some really dumb shit, and then it got kind of fun. But I just didn't care. I gave no shits. I think it was just really terrible. And okay, they did use. I caught this. There was an Easter egg. In the hospital. They had a fun sound or not in the hospital, sorry, in a military setting. It was like it was the ping of the motion sensor from Alien and Aliens. Oh. They used the ping of the motion sensor for like some equipment. And I was like, oh, that's cute. Other than that, it was really just a dumb movie. It does end on an interesting world building note where they like went to a woman's office and we're like, ma'am, we had to nuke the city, like whatever. And she was like, did you, were there any survivors? Like, what can we grab from this? Like, what can we salvage? And they were like, well, whatever. And they introduced her as Miss Utani. So they always talked about Wayland.
Right.
And then they just introduced like a Miss Utani. And I was like, and she was like this Japanese lady. And I was like, that's cool. All right.
That is really cool.
Yeah, it's a fun little world building note. So
that is cool.
But yeah,
I think I
don't watch that movie.
Okay.
In case you were wondering.
Good to know. Yeah. I remember saying one of the first things I said to you when I first saw the hybrid alien in Alien 4 Resurrection is that the Predator? Because it kind of had a very similar face as a Predator.
That's right. Yeah. And I texted back, the fact that you have to ask that just shows why it went wrong.
Well, I mean, at the same time, Predator wasn't out before Resurrection, right?
Yeah, it was. It was like
it was
late 80s.
Oh, I didn't know that they were out before.
I think it was like 89 and 93. It was like first Predator in 89-ish.
Oh, so I thought it was so yeah, I mean that was a ripoff of Predator without the mask, 100%.
Yeah. Kind of. Except for the mandibles, the like extended like things on the side.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But you're not
rip
wrong.
Off, you know what I mean. Yeah,
you're not wrong.
It would have been cool if that was kind of like the reveal that I don't know. I don't. What is Predator? What is his like origin?
It's just a warrior species.
Okay, cool.
That's it. That's literally their whole thing. There's just a warrior species that hunts across the world. The only reason why they did a crossover was in the second one in like 1993. the Predator like opened up its trophy case and had like heads of different aliens and like put a human head right next to it was an alien. It was like a xenomorph head as like an Easter egg because it was the same studio, Fox. So that's what they could do. And then like everything built from there. So Dark Horse started doing comics and then they made the movies. So
got you. Okay. So maybe like thousands of years ago, some ancient human had sex with a predator or had sex with an alien. I mean, yes.
Good answer. On that note, thank you so much for joining us for fucking 90 minutes of pure gory chaos. Really appreciate all of you. Brent will be back next week, and we will be talking about Not Alien. Thank you so much, Chandler, for showing up. Where can the people find you if they want to find you?
Oh, God, you can find me. The best place is Instagram.com/Chandler Crav. ChandlerKrav.
Nice. Are you doing anything with the Fivers thing right now, or are you still considering streaming, or no?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, I would say the best place that I could funnel people from is the Instagram. Okay. So if you're interested in me in whatever way, check out the Instagram, and then from there, check out my stories, and then if I'm streaming, you'll know from there. But yeah, I do video game streaming. I do photography.
I'm
working on some entrepreneurial thing that I'm trying to do right now. So yeah, just a bunch of things.
Nice. Great. Yeah, you're a man of many talents. You're also working in cryptocurrency, but we'll leave them on that note. You can find me at Pirate Cat on everything. And also Pop-timistic has Instagram, Pop_timistic, TikTok, Pop_timistic. We're on Facebook now. We're on everything now. We put out videos. We're putting out video nuggets on Instagram Reels. And can I get a 20-piece?
Nuggets after this.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a 20-piece right after this.
And TikTok. So check those out. If your 90 minutes of talking isn't your thing, just find the highlights. We try to make them interesting. And they're like 30 to 60 seconds long. So have fun with that.
Highlights are great. So you can find the highlights on Instagram. You can find them on TikTok. They're really good, really
Chandler
fun stuff.
Literally,
check them out.
You literally will respond and be like, dude, that was a good one. It's so
good. It's the truth.
Thank you so much.
It's the truth.
Well, anyways, guys, thank you so much. And guys and gals. And have a great rest of your day and week. And we'll see you soon. Okay. Love you. Bye.
Bye.